The Punjabis of the world are uniting in order to sign a petition to get quote unquote fair sentencing for the man who killed 3 people in an accident involving his trailer when he made an illegal U-turn in Florida. Like I said, killing 3 people, and now they made this petition on change.org. Obviously, this is a group of Punjabi people. I think at the bottom it says young adult Punjabi, something like that. And they want quote unquote fair sentencing. And we'll get into what that means in a little bit. I'm also going to cover Marco Rubio saying that they're no longer going to offer CDLs or visas or something like that. I don't know. We'll be covering all this stuff, the updates on this case, and exactly what they're asking for here in the petition and why they think they can get whatever it is they're asking for, leniency in the sentencing. They're asking Ron DeSantis of all people. Like, it's not, it ain't gonna happen, bro. By the way, this guy has since been arrested in California and extradited to Florida. Now, I was wondering how he even got to California. Like, the crash happened in Florida. I guess after the crash, he just went home, and then he was just there chilling, I guess, after the accident, and then now he's been arrested and brought back to Florida. So anyway, this is what the petition is asking for. Let me see who made it. Collective Punjabi Youth. That's what it's signed as. Now they say, we, the undersigned, urge Governor Ron DeSantis and the Florida Board of Executive Clemency to re-examine and reduce the sentence for a 28-year-old truck driver involved in a fatal U-turn crash on Florida's Turnpike in South Florida. This was a tragic accident, not a deliberate act. While accountability matters, the severity of the charges against him does not align with the circumstances of the incident. Now, a problem with this is the fact that, for one, he doesn't speak English. Like, this guy, I think I have this up in here somewhere. This guy got an interview with the FMCSA. Let me try to remember. Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration. I think that's what that stands for. They did an interview with him. They did a proficiency test. What does this say? He only answered 2 of 12 verbal questions correctly and only identified 1 of 4 signs. So this isn't just a case of an accident. You know, this is almost weaponized negligence. Like, he doesn't know what he's doing. He's a danger to people on the road. Let's keep reading. No criminal intent or history. The incident was a catastrophe, not a criminal act. The driver has no prior record and fully cooperated with the authorities. Now, in regards to no prior record, I did see a tweet of somebody saying that back in 2019, he ignored a sign regarding the weight limits on a bridge and actually crossed his trailer over the bridge and then collapsed the bridge. I doubt this is true. I couldn't verify this, but just a thought. You know, it wouldn't be surprising to me because, like I said, he doesn't speak English. He literally just came from India or wherever in 2018. 1 year later, he's a truck driver. It wouldn't surprise me if he collapsed a bridge because he ignored a road sign, like a weight limit sign. Like I said, that one organization, FMCSA, noted that he couldn't identify highway traffic signs. So how do we expect him to be able to read, you know, something that says, and he doesn't speak English, as we'll see, I already mentioned, but him in court will confirm this. So how's he going to identify a bridge, you know, weight limit? He can't even identify the road signs. So anyways, they bring up another case, Aguilera Medeiros, where the governor or whoever, I think it was the governor. Well, basically they reduced their sentence to, I think it was like 10 years, 5 years with good behavior. And they basically want Ron DeSantis to do the same thing now. I don't think Ron DeSantis is going to do this. I think he already spoke out against this. I don't have a tweet from him, but I saw he tweeted something in regards to this, like obviously against the driver, like obviously putting the blame on the driver because obviously he has some blame. Now, mind you, you'll see a lot of comments here. They're all people that are not from the United States. None of them are Americans. First of all, Manisha Kaushal doesn't sound like an American name. No offense. Now, I'm not going to be one of these people that's like a race realist. Like, oh, you can't be Indian and American. Like, obviously, you can have a name like Manisha and be American. But my point is that none of these people, none of the Americans that are opining on this case are actually in favor of this. So we'll see the comments here on the petition and then the comments on Reddit, which are, I assume, mostly American. And they're very against this petition. So mind you, just look at where these top comments are from. So Marvy is from Sydney, Australia. This is Mississauga. Now, I know you Americans don't know where this is. I didn't know either. I had to look these up. This is in Canada. And I think Coffs Harbour is also in Australia, if I'm not mistaken. So none of these are American. And let's read what they say. Marvy says it was an accident. He made a terrible mistake, not a deliberate choice to harm anyone. He was working hard to support his family like so many of us, and one wrong decision changed everything. A 45-year prison sentence is not justice. Well, I would ask this person, what is justice? Because 3 lives were taken and it was his fault. You know, you're not going to get those 3 people back, obviously. Love Preet says 45 years of imprisonment is fair for a young Is it fair for a young boy who left his home country to have a bright future, support family? Okay. 28 is kind of pushing it for young boy, okay? I'm 27. I think I'd be offended if somebody called me a young boy. All right? A young man, maybe, but maybe this is a language thing. I don't know. Oh, also, I forgot to mention, I think the person who wrote this doesn't have great English, which doesn't surprise me. Because in the petition request, they say that guy, presumably, I assume that guy is Harjinder Singh, the guy who caused the accident. That guy should be given the harshest possible punishment. I don't think that's what they meant to say. I think they wrote that. I think they meant to say should be given the most lenient punishment, the least possible punishment. Because then they say, and reasonable terms, reflective of the circumstances and comparable to the Aguilera Madero's president. I don't know, I found that funny that they kind of, I guess, have poor English, or I don't know, they messed it up. But anyway, no, it was a mistake, not intentional. The kind of sentence is a result of racial discrimination. Oh, racial discrimination, where comments were made that the driver had no remorse. He didn't show emotion after he saw the accident, but the truth is he was in shock, devastated. His whole life was shattering in front of his eyes. How do you even know this? You don't know. I guess the same way we don't know if he actually didn't have remorse. I know I did mention that in the last video, like it looks like he didn't have remorse. But that's what it looks like. We don't actually know what he felt like. We don't actually know if he feels remorse. He very well might. But, you know, obviously we don't know what somebody's feeling. But he doesn't look that concerned, you know? So how can you know if he's in shock or devastated or whatever? You don't know this. Here, people do crime, rob, and kill, but left free on basis of term mentally unstable, sentence should be reduced. Okay, well, you act like anybody's in favor of that. And here where? You're from Canada. What are you even talking about? Mankirat. Mind you, I assume all of these are Punjabi people based on the names. Like, yes, I'm profiling, but it sounds like Indian names. He says, I don't know if Mankirat is even a guy name, but it was an accident. He made a terrible mistake, not a deliberate choice to harm anyone. No shit. He was working hard to support his family like so many of us, and one wrong decision changed everything. A 45-year prison sentence is not justice. Well, one wrong decision. I mean, this sounds like people justifying like drunk driving. Like, she just drank a little bit. It was just a bad decision, like takes the life of 3 people. That's basically the equivalent here. Nobody would feel sympathy for a drunk driver that caused an accident that killed 3 people. Why should you feel sympathy for a truck driver who made a mistake, who caused an accident that killed 3 people? It's the same thing. It's negligence either way. It either because you were too intoxicated and couldn't make good decisions, or because you're so dumb, you're untrained that you're not able to make a decision. You don't know the rules of the road, and so you caused an accident. Either way, you know, if he had been drunk and he had done the same thing, it would be way easier to blame it on the alcohol. What's the difference? He made a stupid decision either way. He broke a law either way. So the result should be the same. He caused 3 deaths. He should get, you know, a sentence that indicates that reflects that. Yeah, as you can see, just scrolling through the names, I mean, bunch of Indian names, bunch of Punjabi names. So like I said, these are Punjabis of the world. This is not anybody from the United States. Well, I'm sure maybe some of them are, but oh bro, look at this comment. It was an accident. I understand has done wrong turn, but he intentionally did not kill anyone. Car driver was at fault too. They should have seen the truck in the middle of the road. They should have slowed down. I'm going to review the video, and we're going to get to this in a little second, because at first I thought maybe the driver had some culpability, but now I'm not so sure. I still think they do. Obviously, they could have slowed down, but now I feel like the turn was made, after reviewing the footage, the turn was made very quickly, and so it's possible that the trailer pulled in like just as well. We'll review the video. I'm not gonna explain it here. Let me read this comment. Agreed, he entered the USA illegally. Government should take action about all the illegal immigrants. He failed English test. Maybe he is stressed. He is stressed. That's why he was just stressed, guys. That's why we should forgive him for killing 3 people. He was just stressed, you know. For sentencing, please, like, oh yeah, that's real convincing. And please reduce the sentence. Now, I wonder where these people, like, 45 years is too much. How much is enough for taking the lives of 3 people? You know what I'm saying? But either way, let's review the footage here. So the footage is pretty quick. It starts when he's on the side road. Now, mind you, this highway is only 2 lanes. And so he seems to be on the second lane, or the first lane rather, on the right, kind of pulled over to the right. So he looks like halfway out the side road, right? Mind you, the car that crashes into the trailer is in the second lane. So they're on different lanes, right? And the trailer's kind of pulling out so they can make the turn. I don't know if I'm confusing you out here, but you can see he's already making the turn when the video starts, right? He's actively turning the wheel, right? When the video starts. And so he's in the first lane. He very quickly makes it to the side railing or past the side railing. Look, boom. It's like 1 second and he's already there. So in 1 second, he's gone from his lane to blocking all lanes, and the vehicle that crashed into him is already in view. So you have to imagine they're going maybe 70 miles an hour. After 1 second, all the lanes are blocked. They're not that far away. So he made the turn fairly quickly. And, even if they hit the brakes, you can imagine. I wish we had audio for this. I'm sure you could probably hear the brakes slamming. Now, even if they didn't, obviously, he would still be at fault for this. But what I'm trying to say is maybe the driver was distracted. Even if he wasn't and responded adequately by slamming on the brakes, I don't know that this could have been avoided. Maybe they wouldn't have died. I'm not sure. But what I'm trying to get at is that it's definitely the truck driver's fault because he pulled in way too quickly, If he was just blocking, if he was just in this position right here, like blocking the 2 lanes, and somebody like ran into him, like, yeah, okay, you're an idiot. You should have seen him from a mile away, started pressing the brakes, tapping the brakes. Now, mind you, something else also, because he made the turn so quickly, wait, let me review if he stops here. Okay, he didn't stop. So maybe, I don't know. I want to give the driver the benefit of the doubt, the driver of the car. But I do think they were distracted or something, they weren't paying attention. Because I think they would have slowed down at least a little bit. Either way, doesn't matter because he pulls in way too quick and makes an illegal U-turn anyway. And also, this would have been different if he tried to make the turn, but I don't think it would have been possible. If he tried to make the turn, why didn't I mute this? If he tried to make the turn from the right lane. Now, mind you, this is the footage after the wreck. And he got pretty far into, past the railings. His truck there's not that much of his truck left. Like, I could see maybe, I don't know, you have to think that the driver of the minivan was maybe confused as to what was happening. It's just a high pressure scenario. You can see that he's already at like the railings here. He's already like in between the 2 sides of the highway. So I'm looking here to see like how far across it would take, how long it would take for him to cross the railing. Anyway, all that to say is he's at fault. No reason to shorten his sentence. This is a nonsense petition. Now, this is video of him, I believe, in court. And there's a translator. I mean, enough said. Like, he needs a translator to answer what his name is. I have to hear this. I can't hear this.
My name is Harjinder Singh.
Okay, thank you, sir.
He can't answer the question, what is your name? It's like the first thing you learn when you're learning a new language. Like, hi, how are you? My name is... Like, bro, you don't know how to say that. Why the hell are you here driving a truck? Like, what are you doing? So, just more reason to place the blame on him. Just not being able to speak English. Like, bro, how did you even get your license? So, this is... let me see. Ron Desantis said he was incompetent. He said, how are you going to operate some big rig when you don't understand the road signs? So, I don't think he's going to give him a lenient sentence. Just saying. Sorry not to depress the Punjabi petitioners, but I think he's going to jail for 45 years. I'm just saying. Now, Secretary Marco Rubio has stated, effective immediately, we are pausing all issuance of worker visas for commercial truck drivers. The increasing number of foreign drivers operating large tractor-trailer trucks on U.S. roads is endangering American lives and undercutting the livelihoods of American truckers. Now, this is great that he's doing this. It's twofold because, for one, you're increasing the wages of the active American truckers, right? There's less immigrants taking the jobs of American truckers. Therefore, the wages go up. It's just supply and demand. Americans can come in and take those jobs and make a good amount of money. And second, you're making it safer because obviously the foreign drivers on the roads don't all know how to drive. They don't even know how to speak English or how to read road signs. So why the fuck would we expect them to drive safely? They obviously don't. Somehow they're getting their licenses. We don't know if they're getting them through a regulated means. We don't know if they actually know how to drive when they're given a license to go out on the road. So, yeah, obviously, I approve of what Mr. Marco Rubio is saying. I'm sure most Americans do, because on Reddit, in the Punjabi, I don't know what you call this, subreddit? Yeah, the Punjabi subreddit, some person's advocating for the petition. And people in the comments are like vehemently disagree. The signs on the turnpike in Florida clearly states no U-turn, official use only at every opening between medians. He should be held accountable for blatantly ignoring the law. True. Showing no remorse for his actions, and it stems from a lack of education and literacy. Both true as well. Except for the remorse thing. I mean, it's not like it's illegal to not show remorse, but obviously it is illegal to make an illegal U-turn. How can you be a truck driver if you clearly cannot read road signs or willingly ignore them? He should be stripped of his license and deported to his country of citizenship. This sets a precedent that his actions don't have consequences. There was no mechanical failure issue with the truck. True, that's very true. That's what would qualify an accident. Like something happened to my truck, my brakes went out, I don't know, things like this. It reminds me of a case, I believe he was driving like an oil, I don't know what you call them, like an oil trailer. And he like crashed and people died because of the flames, because of the explosion. But I think in that case, his brakes went out. And so that would be more of a case where maybe leniency would be appropriate because it was out of his control, like his brakes failed. This was 100% in his control. He made the turn. It was his fault, 100% his fault. And this is what this guy says. There was no mechanical failure issue with the truck. It was 100% the driver's fault. He should be held liable. Trying to absolve him of his crimes is a miscarriage of justice, and anyone signing this petition should be ashamed of themselves. And then this guy goes straight to the whataboutism. What about the millions of Iraqi civilians killed by American forces? Not what we're talking about. Not relevant. 400K Punjabis from India signing this won't change a GD thing. Now, this is also another point. Like I said, the 3 top featured comments on the petition are from people outside of the United States. This is just Punjabis from other parts of the world signing a petition to a governor that, you know, they're not beholden to. That's not their governor. So who gives a shit what they think? They're not from here. Even the Punjabis here aren't from here. You know what I mean? No offense to the Punjabis. I'm sure they're great people, but yeah. So all this to say, hopefully he gets the full sentence. I mean, he killed 3 people. He ignored road signs. Hopefully he gets deported. Hopefully he serves his time in jail. Hopefully in reverse order. Hopefully he serves his time and then gets deported. But yeah, a silly petition and a shame on the Punjabis of the world to have signed it because they're trying to reduce the sentence. Somebody who killed 3 people. I mean, those poor families.